A bunch of questions here so we can have this for posterity. And so you get
prosperity or posterity?
Posterity. And maybe prosperity if you tell all the right answers. So we'll start with you telling us where you was born, when, what the circumstances were, who your mom and pa was, all those
March
good
the
things.
2nd, I was born March the 2nd, 1914, in an old log cabin in the hills and hollows of Macon County.
That's in Tennessee, right?
Tennessee.
Okay.
And my daddy's name was C.R. Gilman. My mother's name was Claire Viola.
CR, I stand for Claudia Rubin, didn't it?
Claudia Rubin. And they just pulled clod hill hoppers, sharecroppers, all over the Laos till the last 20 years.
Did they come from Macon County or did
Yeah,
they move there?
they came from Macon County.
So your grandparents lived there too?
I never did know my grandparents.
On either side?
I never did see my grandfather on my daddy's side and didn't know my mother. Some of the older sister knew her, but I didn't.
So how old was Claudia and Clara when they got married?
Mine was 14 and Dad was 17.
They started kind of early, didn't they?
They started out early.
And let's see, was Bessie oldest?
Bessie was the oldest.
You got 4 sisters now, right?
I have 4 sisters.
Bessie, Mamie, and Dovey. No,
Lily
Lily and Dovey.
Yeah.
Dovey was the youngest sister. And you was the youngest of all.
I was the youngest of all.
So,
and they didn't spoil me neither.
I'm sure. when was Bessie born? You remember?
I don't remember her birthday.
She was how old when you was born?
Don't remember that either. Well, she was already old and had children.
When you was born?
When I was born, yeah.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that would be, because who's some of Bessie's children?
Clemens Gregory is the oldest of her children. Then come along Hollis.
And then
Wilma Dean.
Wilma Dean. Now you're about the same age as Clemens and Hollis, ain't you?
I'm a little bit older than Hollis.
Was you younger than Clemens?
Huh?
Was Clemens older than you?
No. I think he was 2 years younger than me.
Boy, so you all were pretty much contemporaries, so that made you quite a bit younger, almost young enough to be Bessie's son.
Yeah, almost old enough to be Bessie's son, that's right.
And then Mamie came along, and she had how many kids?
She had 3.
Who were they? Because we don't know Mamie's family that well.
You don't. Eunice Egan, Everett Egan, and Orville Hortense Gann. He was named after me.
Orville was named after you. So they're a good bit younger than you are.
Oh yeah, they're a good bit younger than I am.
These all are first cousins of Mama Kay.
Back then, Eunice C is 66, and Everett T is 64, and Hortense is about 62.
Mamie's been dead for quite some time, hasn't she?
He died in 56.
1956, that's quite some time ago. And then came along Lily. Lily had, she had Opal, right?
Lily had baby died
First.
His name was Truman.
Truman. How old was he?
It's a baby.
He was very young. Then who else did Lily have?
Opal.
Opal, that was it?
That's it. Till Wayne come along.
Until Wayne. And then, of course, Dovey only had the one child.
One child.
Bill Ray.
That's right.
Okay. Of course, we know who you had. That's the reason we're sitting here today doing this interview in front of this camera.
I had a non-headed, curly-headed baby girl and a bull-headed baby boy.
And it stayed that way.
It stays that way. No, I take that all back. They're both sweet.
Well, when did Mammy die? She died, I remember her
Mammy died in 58.
58, because I can barely remember her going to the old farmhouse out on Highway 100, and she would be back in that far right bedroom.
That's when she was sick.
And I remember basically going back in her room, was kind of dark, and she was in bed, and we would climb up in bed with her.
Yeah.
And that's almost the only memory I have of Mammy.
It is.
And I don't guess Sherry, of course Kelly obviously has no memory ever since he wasn't born yet. Sherry probably has no memory either much of her.
That knothead come along in 1962 when I was in Nashville having a kidney stone.
Oh my goodness, what a way to remember him.
Yeah, what a way to remember. And he's been a thorn in the side ever since.
Pappy lived quite a bit longer though after Mammy did.
Oh yeah, he lived. Pappy was 87 when he died.
When did you and Nanny meet, Betty?
Well, that's a short and long story. My family and her family had been knowing each other all them 700 years.
Y'all were remotely related somehow.
Cousins.
Cousins.
And her mother, Betty's mother, and the old Sal came out to our house one day.
Now, who's the old Sal?
Your nanny.
Oh, Nanny. Okay, let's get this straight here. I didn't know whether you was talking about her mother or what.
They came out, we lived on 100, walked out from town. That's the first time I ever did see your nanny.
This was with Mammy Patterson and her walking out there.
Betty's mother and her.
Where were they living at the time?
They were living in town with her sister, Buren and Fountain.
That was after her daddy had already died, I guess.
Oh yes, her dad had been dead a long
So,
time.
Mammy Patterson and Nanny was still with her, and they came up living with Beulah.
They lived to come live with Bueller.
And how old was she then when you first met her?
17.
Oh, she's that old, huh? That's good. And y'all were living on Highway 100. Y'all hadn't built the big house yet then, had you? Were you living in the big farmhouse?
Yeah, we lived in a big farmhouse. We haven't built a little one.
Oh, the little one was built after you all
Yeah.
got married, didn't you? Y'all lived down there, the little one.
That's what it is.
So who was living there? Just you and Mammy and Pappy?
Me and Mammy and Patty.
And all the 4 girls were already married and gone.
Oh, everybody going but us.
And you, if she was 17, you must have been about 21 then.
22.
22. So you were helping Pappy with the farm?
Well, we bought that farm together in 35. 1935.
You remember how much you paid for it?
I paid $330
For how many
for
acres?
70 acres.
You got quite a bit more than that average when you got around to selling
And
it.
that was about 181,000 all told.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it quite a bit. Okay, tell us more about your courtship with Nanny. How it is that there came to be a Cager and Betty and everything come after that?
Ain't much to tell about that.
Oh, come on. I'll bet
Ain't
there
much to tell
is.
about that. We just started dating around and she said she didn't have nobody to take care of her, and I said, well, I'll do it. Nobody else won't.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear Nanny's side of this story. See how well they meshed together.
And so,
What was the day y'all were married? When were y'all married?
when we married,
This is a test, anniversary date now.
well, let me get this straight. It was on Easter Sunday of 1936. 12th
The 12th of
12th day of April.
April. April the 12th, 1936.
6.
Okay. Let's see, April 12th, 1936, and you was born in
And Betty's
1914.
sister and Albert Lyles went with us to get married over there in the middle of the road at Hickory Flat. No, not Hickory Flat.
In the middle of the road.
Yeah, close to the Tennessee line.
How come you do it that way as opposed to a church wedding?
Well, Brother Stewart was pastoring at Antioch.
Uh-huh.
We wanted him to marry us, and he couldn't do it in Tennessee, because he lived in Kentucky. So we just met him over on the middle of the road and got hitched up.
Oh, so you wanted this guy who couldn't do it because he wasn't licensed in Tennessee, so you had to step over the line in Kentucky before you could get married?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was an old friend of the family.
That's how come you wanted to get you
Yeah.
to marry you all.
They did.
After y'all got married, did you move on into the house with Mammy and Pappy?
Yeah, on the place we had to go.
How long did you live there before you built the house?
Well, practically all alive. We didn't live in that little house down there but a few years.
Oh, is that right? Well, if y'all got married April 12, 1936, seems to me I remember that Mother's birthday is April 9th, 1938.
Yeah, she is too.
So y'all been married about 2 years
2
when she
years.
come along.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
how did Mammy and Pappy feel about their new granddaughter? I guess it was kind of old hat to them. They'd already had so many granddaughters and grandsons, being the 4 daughters.
Well, her grand there, she was, how will I say it? It is something brand new. And they loved her just like they did their own children.
How old were Mammy and Pappy when she was born? They were getting on up there, weren't
Oh yeah, they were getting on up there.
Because they'd already had 4 girls grown and gone, and had children grandchildren were just about your age.
And grandchildren nearly my age.
So I guess it was kind of new for them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I understand that Mammy kind of thought the world of Mama. She almost raised her because
Almost raised her, because Daddy went to work at the shirt factory and Mammy babysitted and just about raised her.
That's what I heard. Then Terry came along how much later? He's 8 years younger than Mother, so I've been 1946.
46. March the 2nd, 1946, he hopped around here.
Well, tell us what you did during the Second World War, because you didn't keep farming, did you? Didn't you leave and go north for a while?
In 1941, I went to Detroit. I went to work at Continental Motors, making right whirlwind motors for the tanks and airplanes in the Mid-East, in Africa. And I had already, I thought I'd be called up in the Army just any time.
So you expected to have to go fight?
Yeah, I expected to have to go fight. But in 41, when Pearl Harbor was bombed on that Sunday morning when I went in and heard about it, went to work.
You were already in Detroit when Pearl Harbor was bombed?
Yeah.
So you started working up there before the United States even got involved?
I went in 41 of August.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pearl Harbor was bombed on a Sunday morning, the 7th.
December the 7th, that's right.
And I'm telling you, the people in there, the feathers fell. Because everybody was expecting it to be cold the next day.
Everybody thought they were going to have to go fight right then,
Right
didn't they?
then. And I did too.
What were y'all making, airplane engines?
It's right whirlwind motor. It had 9 cylinders.
One of those radial engines?
Yeah. And it was the only engine would hold up in that hot African sun and sand. It was oil and air cooled.
Did you stay up there and work the entire war?
No, I come home in 42.
Oh, so you weren't there quite all that long? A year? Not quite a year?
41, but I still expect to be called up any time, but I got homesick and lonesome.
Because Nanny didn't come with you, did she?
Yeah, she was up there.
Oh, she's up there with you. So that meant you and Mama Kay and Nanny were all up there together.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting.
And we lived in a 2-room apartment. It cost me $10 a week for rent and $10 a week to eat. And we had everything we needed to eat. $10 a week.